I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. Got no filter, I got no filter. 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 No filter, I got no filter.
Hey guys, so we have an official sponsor of the Paramotor Hangout. It's Uncle Steve's Shake. If you've ever had my cooking and you liked it, it's because of the seasonings I use from Uncle Steve's Shake. If you make an order and use the Paramotor Hangout in the order comment, you may just receive something extra thanks to Uncle Steve's Shake. Now, let's get on with the show. All right, so we're just gonna deal with that. Anyways, welcome to Tuesday Night Hangouts, where this is a absolute S show at this point. All right, until I get my computers fixed, I got nothing. I just have a phone, so that's what we're gonna do. Anyways, welcome to the show, everyone. Oh, it's raining outside. Anyways, how is everyone doing? Will, how you doing?
And I'm doing good. I spent the last 2 days in bed trying to recover from that Alabama drive, and I think I'm back to normal. It was a great time.
Didn't you spend most of the time in bed?
Negatory. A good bit of it, maybe 50% of the time, but that's reasonable.
Mr. Mark, how you doing, sir?
I am doing lovely. Glad to be here, and everything is going good. Just trying to get caught up on getting the camper taken care of and all that sort of nonsense.
So the main voyage for that was not what we'd hoped for, correct?
Yeah, I don't. I ran the air today and watched a bunch of YouTube videos on it, and I'm not sure that it's broken. I know you can't charge it.
Right. All right. So what I'm going to do is move my tripod over here. Man, I'm having just a hellacious time today. I'll let my wife's crappy tablet fall off of there. I don't care. I'm pretty sure I bought it anyways. Anyways, we have a special guest. Well, we should say welcome back guest, Mr. Cole. We will get to Mr. Cole here in a second. As soon as I get this adjusted. Hold on, let me make sure I got everything. Okay. All right, sorry. This was... Okay, first of all, I set up the whole show to be started at 11 o'clock tonight. There was questions on that. Oh, there you go. Oh, you guys are welcome. Look at me. Good Lord. In the nice lighting and everything. All right, so Mark, Will, either one of you want to talk about what we did this past weekend, starting, I don't know, let's say Wednesday of last week?
Yeah, went down to visit Brian Waller in the compound. He has got an awesome freaking setup there. It's just perfect for paramotors, and plenty of things to see and big fields to carve. Had a good time. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, me too. Mark, what was your favorite part about that? Before you answer that, I wish I had him on right now, just so you know. Your dad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was good to spend time with him and hang out with him. Of course, Mr. Waller took him up on a flight, and that was incredible. That was awesome. He really enjoyed it, and that was awesome of him to do that. And, the camping and hanging out and eating was fantastic as always. And my favorite part was flying to go out to breakfast. That was the first time I'd ever done anything like that, and that was really cool.
That would be my first time as well. We literally left Waldan Field, which is Brian Waller's air or whatever property there, and we flew. I don't know how many miles is that. I mean, it didn't take long. Let's just call it 5. Would you guys say 5 miles from our LZ?
Yeah, if that.
Yeah,
It was really close.
Yeah. So we all flew, landed at. All right. So you're in Alabama when you fly to breakfast to a Ace. Was it an Ace Hardware?
It's a hardware store.
yeah.
It's a hardware store, but when you walk in, it's a hardware store, and if you keep walking, you end up at the breakfast spot. Had tables, and you place your order, go sit down. They bring you your food out. Actually, pretty good food. And we all got done eating, got up, paid. Well, actually, James Parker's buddy. True Value. It is a true value because you truly get a value for your food there, and so we got done eating and all launched and had I would call it a not so smooth ride back, but it was doable. And land back at the field, put our gear away, and sat back and just did what we've been doing, hanging out and just having good laughs and good times, man. It was freaking awesome.
I'll add something to that. I had a realization while I was with Brian. And hello to PPG, the other Nick. So I think that I've come to the decision that I have made my last no-wind foot launch attempt. I don't know what it is, man, but whether it's my back or the heat or whatever, man, it's just not for me. And I know that I can do it because I did it. I did it at Brian's place, but I got into this sport to have fun and not to prove anything to anybody. And man, I just want a little wind assist when I launch. So yeah, that's kind of something that's new. That's where I am in the sport right now. And once I get up, man, I can have a good old time. But just I want some freaking wind.
Hey, real quick, can I say hello to Jim CR120? Haven't seen him in a while.
No, you can't.
Okay, I won't say. Take that back. Take it back.
I was just on the phone with him just before we got on the show.
Ah, well.
Oh no, not Jim CR120. What's up, man? I was talking about Jim from Canada.
That's wholly different. That doesn't count. We're talking about Jim CR120.
No, man.
So I will say, let me go ahead and give you my official thank you to Mr. and Mrs. Waller for allowing Brian to invite us to the property and have such a great time. It truly is a just absolutely good time and a privilege to be invited back. Not the first time, but the second time. I'll wait until October to see if I get invited for the third time. If I don't, I understand why. But I do want to just say Brian's parents are just, they're angels, man. They truly are just the sweetest, nicest people. And Brian, he's okay too. But speaking of Brian did he purchased on the Uncle Steve Shake website a crap ton of seasonings. So with that being said, if you are going to the Fly It for Gauge fly-in in June 8th to 11th, and you pre-register, you can pre-register by going to Zelle and typing in the email of never trust a skinny chef Shane at gmail.com and making your pilot's fee I will be giving out. Once they're gone, they're gone. But there are a bunch of seasonings. So if you pre-register and you get there at the field, there'll be a couple boxes of seasonings there. You get to pick out what you want and take a bottle per pilot per registration fee. So we're going to have everybody on Uncle Steve's in no time. Hello? What happened? What happened?
There was a couple people that commented about Will's not wanting to launch in nil win, saying maybe to get a trike just for the nil win launches. That's a thought.
It is a thought, and I have fought that and fought that and fought that, and I'm still fighting it. I'm not ready for the trike yet. And I mean, again, the sport is something different to everybody, you know. So if it gets to the point where I'm like, hey, I'm missing too many flights, and I want to fly and I can't, then yeah, that's the time for the trike for me. But even then, I would opt for maybe a retracted trike, something along those lines, like what Brian flies.
Right.
I think that would work out well.
Anything you guys want to mention about the Wallers before we move on to our tonight's returning guest?
I would like to say thank you as well to Brian and his parents. They're just awesome people. You know, loved hanging around them, and it wasn't so much fun hanging around Shane, but
I get it. I understand.
Brian's parents made it all worth it, man.
Yeah. Most people enjoy me the best when I'm sleeping. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they're very welcoming and very kind. You know, really nice and very giving to everybody that was there.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
I forgot.
That was awesome.
Oh, I forgot to tell you that. Hold on. So Brian did set out a tip jar for, you know, to help with donations for the food that everyone bought and stuff. So what ended up happening with that, unbeknownst to me, and really made me feel just so uncomfortable, because this is how I receive gifts, is if I feel uncomfortable with it. Don't get me wrong, it's me. It's no one else, it's me. But all the money that was put in the tip jar was donated towards the Fly It for Gauge. I have all of that money set aside in my room, and it's going to go help buy steaks, or not steaks that you eat, but steaks that you pound in the ground and put ribbon tape and all that stuff. Those are some of the things that I have to purchase before the fly-in. So I am grateful for that. It's going to help out a lot.
Yeah, James said, what about power forwards? I'll just go ahead instead of typing it. I'll just say it. Yeah, I mean, power forward, that's an option, but I would have to reinforce my cage to feel comfortable doing that.
All right. Anybody else want to talk about how awesome their steaks were, how awesome their pizza was, how awesome, what else? Oh, I don't even know what else. Did I cook anything else? That was it? Okay, moving on.
No, I wish I could actually been there and actually try some.
Well, where are you at, Cole? I forgot. You're in.
Oh, I'm in Southwest Colorado in Silverton.
Okay, so you were way away from us.
Oh yeah, dude. I grew up in North Georgia, but yeah, I definitely traveled out westward.
Yes, you did. All right, so let's get on with our guest here tonight. Give some of you guys a background. Cole is a very new pilot, had a midair collision after what, 3 hours? Or 3 flights or 3 hours?
3 flights, 3 hours.
Okay. Had another pilot fly into him. More or less pull right in front of them, let off throttle, and then they got entangled. Pretty much what happened. So after a investigation by the USPPA, comes to find out that the pilot, the second pilot, not Cole, is at fault. and it's fair to say that if you're at fault at something, you should have the moral obligation to replace, repair, fix, whatever, make things right. So Cole, what have you done to try to make this happen?
Well, with help with a lot of people in support of the community of the paramotors to this community, uh, we reached out to this particular individual and expressed, hey, look, you could have the chance to make this right. You've done this numerous times, and it's the right moral thing, like you said, to do is to replace and say sorry and apologize and make amends right. It was putting somebody in danger, and I guess express myself that it's just like anything in human morals.
All right. So, what have you done to try to get this person to communicate with you?
Via text mostly. What I have for his contact information from himself and others. Um, we've reached out and expressed, hey, look, dude, you know, you've went and created an incident, and your negligence almost cost us our lives. Um, could you at least, repair this wing and make it right? And there has been absolutely no response to this individual's text, or to my text to this individual, excuse me.
And you have maybe attached a couple other people to those text messages to verify.
Yes, I have. I won't mention names because I'm not sure these individuals will not be identified.
All right. I was one of them. I don't want to be identified. Oh, wait, crap. I ruined everything.
Well, fair enough. Unfiltered, right?
Yeah. All right. So I actually had sent out a link to this person on his Facebook page, which I've had several conversations with him in the past years. It's been a long time since I've had a conversation with him. But long story short, I had sent him tonight, asked him if he wanted to come on. There's been no reply. Pretty much in the same thing that you've got, Cole, is no, I'm working on it. I'm sorry. Go pound sand, whatever.
There is not, everybody, including y'all, have been much helpful, gaining insight with other individuals that's been within this community. I feel like I I'm not sure how many times this happens, and when this does happen, it's life threatening too at the same time. But at the times that they are doing this, um, there's got to be repercussions to people who have to be held accountable for
Right.
these actions. And you could kill somebody. The safety is paramount in this sport, or anything in flying, or anything you do in swimming, or being on the boat, or anything. You had to have your checks in place. I mean, negligence is negligence. This individual took it on himself to fly into myself and create havoc amongst a community that this could have been easily prevented.
Right.
I mean, the focus that should be really on any of this is safety is paramount. I mean, how to avoid it. I mean, yeah, it only cost me almost $800 to repair my wing.
Right.
That's what it cost me. And, it's still a good wing. I haven't investigated it. I haven't looked at it. I haven't really, gone through it at all because, I mean, where I live is, let me, take a look. I live in the freaking Arctic. So I haven't been able to spread it out. And so I'm looking forward to looking at it and seeing if Cloud9 did the damn good job that they say they do. So let's hope for that. And again, it goes back to safety is paramount and how to prevent, other further wreckage and safety preliminaries, SOPs to help keep our sport alive.
Right. So, what is your next step? You're getting ghosted by this guy. Do you have a next step, or are you just hands up?
I'm not always hands up to anything. I never to surrender. I'm a Marine.
Yeah, right.
But this individual needs to be further maybe investigated. He definitely needs to be held accountable for what it is. My step is I don't even see it being. I don't see it being in any way legal to go after him. I mean, this guy apparently has no remorse for what he did. He's obviously done it to other people and other fly-ins, including the one that I was in.
Right.
So taking this anywhere further is maybe learning from this mistake and helping other people and maybe rewrite some little bit of rules that help us hold people accountable for their actions.
Yeah. What is it? Well, is there anything that we can, not we as in this panel, but the paramotor community? Is there anything we can do to get somebody to, I mean, there's no insurance to carry, like car insurance. There's nothing we can do to put insurance on it. So how do we protect ourselves?
I would say the only way you're going to really protect yourself is to, fly defensively, and that keeping your head on a swivel doesn't just count for landing and takeoff. It's when you're flying, but you're not just looking for other traffic. You're looking for situations like what happened to Cole. Now I know it was probably because the way it looked, Cole, it looked like he came up behind you. So I mean, it didn't he come behind
No,
you?
he came out in front of me. I had the right of way, and I tried to decelerate to keep from impacting into his motor.
Okay. Well, so without casting blame on anybody, it's you gotta fly defensively, and I've had situations like that come up, and someone wanted to do a wingtip touch, and I made it clear that I was not interested, and did that by pulling away. So
There's
I
got to
guess
be more. I know there's a lot of safety implications in the flying community about. There's not really much. There's some things about signaling, and showing people, okay, this is okay, this is or not. I mean, no one's gonna have a radio on them, but like at the same time, from learning from this and after seeing it and talking to a lot of other people, you know, I literally got flown into. I mean, this could have been a more horrific thing. If I didn't drop altitude, like I said before, I could have been into his prop because he swiveled into me or pivoted into me,
right.
pendulum or however. And just thinking about it in my mind, it's like, this could have been easily prevented if he was not being aggressive as he was, maybe drunk, high or higher on other things than other people are that could be functioning normally in a situation like this. But he literally possessed himself as a threat into my airspace and is not doing anything about it. And there's got to be a way to hold people in this community accountable for actions without having to, have the FAA involved and things like that because we want to cherish this sport.
Yeah, I don't think the FAA cares enough to be involved in this, and I not saying what your situation is not important. I'm saying unless you kill somebody, and now if Nick would have, if this person would have severely injured you and or killed you, then yeah, there would have been there would have been a lot of information.
Yeah, dude. I mean, even talking to the president of the USPBG, it's like he was first on the scene, and Dave, being an investigator here, I believe he's on here tonight. You know, these people were on scene. There was the EMT, there was a police officer. I mean, they were first on the scene. I was literally getting off my feet, out of my gear as they were showing up, and this guy had his prop flying everywhere. I mean, he neglected to have his gear checked. There was, clearly a sign of him trying. I mean, I wish there was this showing of the video. You can hear it in the video of me yelling, "Cut it off! Cut it off!"
All right.
At the very end of him cutting off the video. I mean, I was head down, getting sprayed with debris.
I just don't know what kind of person who literally talks about how much money he has, how things are so great for him, how cool he is, how great of a pilot he is. And in my personal experience, it's things that I have been told numerous times by this person. Why the hell do you not stand up and repair somebody's stuff that you obviously caused damage to? I don't get it. You're a coward. And I'm going to tell you that right now. You're a coward. And I hope, I'm going to say this live on the air. I hope that we're at the same fly-ins from time and time again, because I am going to literally point out in front of everyone what a jackass you are. Just so you know. And not because I know Cole. I have never met Cole. Never met him other than this such situation. But I know personally you've cut me off in midair at Dave Purden's. I want to say it was not this year or the year before. I had to aggressively change my trajectory because you cut me off. So yeah, I'm looking forward to running into you. Just so you know, take those stupid cowboy boots or work boots, whatever the hell you call them, that obviously you've worn them for over 3 years, and you obviously don't do much work because you still got them. Anyways, what do you guys got to say? Y'all got to quit with that pausing crap because I think my phone's not.
Well, you know what? I really think that the focus needs to be on now is how to hold people accountable for their actions. I mean, just like anything and other. I mean, we have a responsibility as pilots to uphold our ethics. Our ethics are what we make it, obviously, because we're not flown underneath the regular FAA regulations. But I'm more reluctant to say, can we help prevent and also reassure liability to others?
Right. I mean, they're going to come after us if our motor falls off the back of our paramotor and hits a house. Guess who they're coming after? Why is it that the FAA, we have a midair collision, a report done, there's a guilty party, there's a innocent party. Why isn't the guilty party made to pay for this?
That's correct. I mean, that's what I feel. They should be able to hold themselves. Some people need to hold those people accountable for their actions.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, where are we at? with getting it covered. I mean,
I
the
mean,
guy.
covered is covered. I saw an individual just post that he showed sells PPGA or PPG insurance. You know, that's great and all, but like, you know, is that the same as like, you know, are you in a car wreck and someone rear ends you? Is it the same thing?
I mean, you cause damage to someone's personal belongings, and it's your fault. You're responsible for it. Cole, you're on mute.
Say that one more time.
I said if you cause damage to someone's personal property, whether it be a car, throwing a rock at a window, whatever.
Or cause someone a mid-air collision, causing
Right.
their life in
It's
jeopardy.
so if you take
You're
them
held accountable for something.
so if you take him to smallest claims court and you win, he's never going to Colorado. So
Well, you're never gonna get that. You know, $800. Okay, it was $800 to repair the wing. Yeah, so be it. What if he caused me to land inside his prop?
right.
And my legs, my fucking arms, or mangled my face. What the hell is that assure? I mean, I'm not trying to get FAA more involved at all by means, but like accountability is everything when you do something stupid. I mean, you're supposed to be a pilot. You're supposed to have responsibility. The pilots who are within the fixed wing and rotary are they're like all the time under scrutiny. I mean, I don't want our sport to be under scrutiny by all means, but like at the same time, how can we prevent further collisions and bodily injury as a sport?
Well, I don't know if Will and I talked about this, but I think if you're known to be a reckless pilot or dangerous to other pilots,
And they get grounded. They get grounded.
Yeah, like at some point, I mean, I can tell you right now, this pilot shows up at Fly It for Gauge. He's more than welcome to camp, but he won't be flying. I can assure you.
Well, it was quite interesting to see that at the fly-in that this individual got grounded basically because no one was going to give him a prop and no one was going to help him out. But you know what? Several individuals tried to get me off the ground again that next day. And the reason I didn't get off the ground that next day is because I had a air leak in my primer bulb that was creating a bunch of suction into my carb, and it was not getting me. It was not giving me my throw throttle. Every time I went and go full throttle, once I got it in canopy above my head, it died.
Right.
And luckily, I mean, I went and I just diagnosed it just the other day with Black Hawk and another guy with Mike with Black Hawk. I have a Black Hawk motor 172 Corsair, and I mean that's my first motor. This is my first motor, but
right. That was your first wing as well, which now
yes,
guess what?
It's been destroyed.
You keep saying it's $800 repair, but what you're not looking at is the resale value of a wing that has a repair done to it. Now you've lost more money than you think.
Well, now you know what? I guess I get to make it my kiting wing.
Well, which isn't fair. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you know what though? I'll still fly it, because the general purpose of it, because I trust Cloud9 for repairing it.
Right.
I will give it the benefit of the doubt for the flight. I will balls to the wall. I don't care.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter goes back is like, yeah, the wing costs several thousands of dollars, as everybody knows.
Right.
It's protecting your life. It's your life source. Without your wing, you're dead. I mean, it's like with even with skydiving. You see red, you're dead. On things, you're like, oh shit, something went wrong.
Well, proven fact. You don't actually need a wing to skydive. You do if you want to do it the second time.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That one, that was good.
Now, real quick, so we're not too serious here, and I told this joke to Will and Mark, so I'm going to go ahead and say it out here in the channel here. What does a man with two left? What kind of shoes does a man with two left feet buy?
A shoehorn.
No, he buys flop flops.
But
I'm gonna fly with those.
Flop flops, not flip flops. Flop flops, because he's got two left feet. All right, for those, Angela, I'll give you time to work on that one and figure it out.
she's Googling it right now.
Yeah. Listen, no, she's been Googling why the heck Shane doesn't have his no filter shirt on, because Shane was having computer problems, and then Will's like, "Oh, Mark, you're wearing your no filter shirt? I'll go get mine." Meanwhile, Shane's in the middle of just absolutely flipping out because nothing's working. Anyways,
that's the excuse you're using, anyways, right?
it is. I'm like, screw Angela.
I'm missing out. I'm promoting myself though, but I'm missing no filter shirt.
Need a no filter, huh?
I think I may need one. I mean, I still promote Atlanta. I mean, I'm still from the South.
Yeah, right.
No,
Mark,
I would love to like come out and fly with you guys for real. I mean, if you guys are ever out, June 8th, you got your son's flying.
Correct.
I would like to be able to join that. I have my roof being repaired in my building here in Colorado. It's going to shut down my business. So count me in, send me some information. I would probably more likely contribute to a lot of this. And yeah, if Will would like to fly, I know he likes to Will fly. Let's go across Florida. I'd like to fly across Florida.
Already did it. Been there, done that for Will.
Yeah, but I'd do it again. I'd get real ground support though the next time, you know.
Oh, dude, I got family. I got family and everybody down there, dude. If you really want some more, we got some more, dude. We'll make it happen.
Hey,
we could probably do it really quick, and we'll fly it for a cause. I mean, being a disabled veteran for myself, showing people like you guys, I would love to make it a benefit for all of us.
Yeah.
Sorry for that tandem.
I'm just kidding, Shane. Shane and Krista were awesome ground support. So
no, that's awesome.
So look here under nearby aircraft and right-of-way rules. This little paragraph right here: no person should operate an ultralight vehicle in a manner that creates a collision hazard with respect to any aircraft. So the sad truth, though, and I hate to say it, but the sad truth is, doesn't matter what signals you give or what rules or regulations are in place. I'm not convinced it would make a difference in this case. And as far as what we can do, man, it sucks that it's this way. But short of blacklisting someone for known unsafe flying, I guess that would be an option. But man, fly-ins can be, I don't know.
Fly-ins are going to be more like with these waivers that we signed that goes over the person's properties.
Yeah.
And those things can play a big factor. So the big factor is if I remember correctly, they were EMS and the police were sheriff was involved. And I know in that one of the investigators with our organization said that, hey, was it on property? Was it on grounds? If this was on public land, then there would be a huge, bigger investigation. And since this is like a waiver thing, this becomes a whole different aspect. You're flying over personal airspace and you're flying underneath E and G airspace, this is where we come into play.
It is. So you have, I guess, the option of taking it through the courts or filing, any complaint that you can file. On the same token,
It would be a small claims. It would be finding him wherever he is, wherever he's registered.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
and there's
And
a judgment against someone, but collecting it is I guess what I'm trying to say, and know that I am not sticking up for anybody. I'm all for defensive flying, and that I would say, and you guys can chime in if you disagree, but I would say that the chances of something happening are greater at a fly-in than they are, when you're just flying with your local group of buddies or by yourself. So, man,
no, agreed.
there's no good answer to the problem here yet, but we're talking about it, so that's a start.
Yeah, there's that's why I'm so stuck on this and why I'm so passionate, because there is no correct answer. There's no end resolve. Like, we can't see it. It literally takes a guy who wants to talk about how much of a man he is to literally show that he's a man, to step up and do what's right. And he's not. He's literally not even replied to a text message, anything. To me, coward, but I don't know. That's just me. If I was on a show that had no filter, that's what I would say.
And you know what? I'm not trying to, like, I could be a total dick, and that's the lack of better words I can put it. I've spent a long time in the military, seen a lot of crap, seen a lot of people do a lot of dumb shit, and he literally could have been a better man and could have acknowledged his mistake and paid $800, and this could have been squashed. I mean, whatever, or replace the wing, or just at least say sorry to it more publicly, or not publicly, to myself. I mean,
Right.
I would have been like, hey, look, dude, thanks for you reaching out after all these text messages and then also group messages that I sent you privately and publicly in some sense. But I mean, I don't want this to get too far where, if it goes civil, it gets to other like places and things, and I don't want our community to be jeopardized over one incident, or maybe this has happened several times, but with him, he's apparently done it. But like how to ground somebody, how to legally do something,
Well,
hold anybody accountable.
well, anytime, I mean, for fly-ins, I mean, it would just, I think there needs to be and I'm not speaking for myself because I technically have never given or thrown a fly-in. I'm working on throwing one, but I have not done one yet. I think all these people that have fly-ins should maybe do a, I don't know, group text or something and say, hey, what happened at your flying, or what can we do to make it better? Where's the problems at? And if this person's name continuously pops up, that tells everybody, because guess what, I've had to pay, actually I'm going to have to pay, I think it's $1,100 or $1,200 for liability insurance. If someone shows up that flies reckless, causes problems, makes a claim on this, guess what, next year it's going to be more money. Because
this is for the flying in June.
Yes.
Oh wow! See, there you go.
So
yeah, that's a really good point, Shane. And if they know that you knew about it and still allowed the person to fly.
Correct. So now check this out. So this year I pay $1,100. Next year they're like, well, you had an accident last year, so now you're going to pay $1,600. Well, guess who's paying that? Not me. I'm going to add it to the pilot's fee. So now we all start paying for this asshat's look.
No, you got it. No, you pinned it, man. You're paying for the accidents that happens from the previous accident. It's really truly it.
What
I
happens
mean,
with car insurance? With car insurance, you cause a wreck, your insurance goes up. If you allow somebody that you know is not safe to show up at a fly-in, and you let them fly, and they cause something bad to happen, it's all coming back on us. We're all going to end
yep.
up having to pay higher registration fees because guess what? The liability insurance has gone up a lot more than it should be. But here we go. So, I
And
mean,
this is how we got to try to help prevent that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer is. I can tell you.
Well, the answer is discussing it as we're discussing it now, and showing the people that the seriousness and the risk associated with what we're doing can kill people. It's not not the safest. It's not the safest mode of transportation. This is a extreme sport. Like it's like anything else that you would take yourself up in a fixed wing, almost. You know, you're putting yourself at a risk. You even if you do tandem. I mean, we had tandem exemptions and things that we have to go and do testing for.
Yeah, I I don't know what the answer is. I can tell you that I just think it's crap. I feel bad for you. You're a veteran. Um, I mean, and I will tell you this, Cole. I'll tell you right to your face. I don't think you should have been flying there, whether or not you had the experience or not. But having 3 hours, three flights is not enough for a fly-in.
You know what? I'm not
But
going to
it,
disagree with you, but I mean, you know, at least they had the balls to do so, and I was able to fly correctly with the acknowledgement of the regulations.
again,
And that you're correct. I mean, that could have been a thing that I shouldn't have been there, but at the same time, that individual should not have been in my airspace.
correct. I'm not saying that you did anything wrong. I'm saying with 3 hours, three flights, whatever you want to call it, it's for a fly-in. That's a lot of responsibility. And kudos to you. I mean, you did nothing wrong, but who's to say you didn't have? I don't know. Let's call it 100 hours, and that same situation would have happened. You may, and not again. I'm not defending
I
Yahoo,
agree. I don't know. No, totally understand, man.
but
I mean,
it when you come to a flying, you're not flying with 5 or 6 people. You're flying with 50, 60 people. That's a level of even I have, I don't know, 200 plus hours. And when I go to, oh hi, Will has a kid we didn't know about. Oh shoot, Will has 2 kids.
it is a family. What's up, family?
Will, what is going on? You didn't say you had any kids.
Oh, that's just half of them.
Oh my god.
No, bravo.
Will is like Oprah. I'll give you a kid. I'll give you a kid.
Well, no easy answer here, guys. But hey,
No, I mean, no. You know what, Shane? You skinny. Don't trust the skinny chef. You. I agree with you, man. I did do something out of the unordinary and go to a fly-in. I was actually looking for new individuals in the sport, and I wanted to be part of the community. And you know, at the same time, I found great support. I mean, 90%, 98% of the entire area of those people and everybody was there, including people that are now in Colorado that want to fly with me,
Right.
including you guys and all that. I mean, you guys have offered, as me as your child. No, I'm just joking. But you guys it had to start somewhere, and as we all do. And when you do your first flying, you do your first things, you know, granted, you know, you don't expect to have someone fly into you
Right.
and try to mangle you. I mean, at least I took those precautions and we landed perfectly well enough and I didn't do the sort of things that I thought I was going to do as far as pull reserve. Could have entangled my shoot up with his more, got caught in his prop because his prop wasn't disengaged because it had a malfunction. Stuff like that goes through your head.
Um,
Eh,
uh,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Cole. Angela says Will isn't old enough to be a grandpa. Will is like 56 years old. That dude could be grandpa 12 times over. Sorry.
Jeez, man, I'm 38. I don't have no kids, and
I'm sorry, Cole. Angela is
There.
yeah, she's if you don't address her right away, oh my god, afterwards you get a phone call, you hear it's pretty awesome.
That's great. That's great. No, kids
Now,
are great. I have nephews and nieces and
so
cousins.
you never thought about throwing your reserve? Like, I mean,
Twice. I thought about it twice, dude, and it scared the shit out of me to think about it almost twice. And then I realized I could just pump it out. I mean, as soon as it ran into his motor, I was thinking, luckily that wasn't my body. And so I grabbed a hold, I reached around and started grabbing my risers and started yanking back, going with my non-throttle hand because I'm a right-hand throttle person. And so I'm pulling on my risers and trying to pull them out, and they're almost seeming like they're gonna come out. And then all of a sudden, I'm gonna throw reserve. I'm like, well, shit. If I throw reserve, I'm like 20 seconds into flight now. If I throw reserve, we're just gonna hit down without any freaking flight. We still got enough pumping power. So I started pumping my wings. I'm in my wing, and you can see where he was just riding his down and looking around. But like even at the initial part of the video, when he came into me, he was literally looking at me, going into me, and then let off his throttle and whomp. And I'm
okay,
like, Jesus, dude.
so James put in here final thoughts. Cole shouldn't have been flying flying there. Either should the other guy with faulty equipment. His reckless actions for the gear. It comes to morals, but in the end, it's a risk we all take. Now, I will say, and I've expressed this, Cole, I don't think you had enough experience there. Although you did nothing wrong. You're flying, minding your own business. Whether you have 1 hour or 1,000 hours, you're flying, minding your own business. If you got your
And
learners,
apparently, and I also had an learner's permit, like a vehicle, but also had the right of way.
right? So half of me wants to say I agree with James and say you're right. He doesn't belong there because you don't have enough experience. But then again, the other half is like he didn't do nothing wrong. If you go out driving a car and you've only had an hour with your learner's permit and someone hits you and it's not your fault, should you have not been there?
Okay, so but the thing is that you have your learner's permit and you're on you choose to go on a backcountry road or you choose to go on a 14 lane super highway in New York or whatever. The thing is when you're brand new, and again, I'm not passing judgment calls. I just want to make that clear. But when you're brand new, you're really concentrating on just the basic stuff. So you don't have a whole lot of stuff, mental faculty left over to,
Well, it
continue.
depends on where you grew up and where you drive at and where you come from too.
Okay, well, so the way I see it is, okay, maybe that wasn't the best place to fly. I'm not passing judgment. Okay, the guy, he flew into you and he was wrong. At the end of the day, you still have a wing that's damaged and repaired and all that. So
Well, yeah, correct. I mean, I'm not showing that, I wanted to make this clear that, this is my side of the story. Yeah, of course, I had no experience. Yeah, it's like getting on a highway. The first time driving a car. If you're sitting there and you're gonna be slow poking around on a 70-mile highway, you're gonna likely get whacked and smashed in the ass. But in my case, Someone literally slammed on their brakes and hit me in the fucking front end.
They did,
Right.
and that was wrong. My point is, would you say that someone who's a brand new driver would be a better defensive driver than someone who's a 20-year driver?
Well, guaranteed that, or not guaranteed that, yes, of course, I understand what you're saying. Expertise is expertise. I had not very many people in that air. My airspace was clear. That night, he came into the airspace. I had no choice but to sit there and react to accordingly. Granted, do I understand all the rules? Mostly about 90% of them. I have the book with Jeff Gowen. I've talked to him a few times. But regardless, I enjoyed being there. Oh my God. It was like the best fun thing. It was the most craziest thing. It is a damn circus. Yeah. Geez, dude,
That's why I'll never
going
be there.
into a circus.
Yeah, no, I'll never be there. That
I
is
mean,
not.
I want to clear something up here. Tony Marzano says he had every right, regardless of his experience, to fly there. Yes, not my point. Completely. The only one thing that we can do for sure is to work on our side of the street, even though the other person is 100% at fault or whatever, and we have no control or whatever at this point because he's not here. One thing we can do is work on ourselves and what we can change. And if sometimes we choose to ride a motorcycle instead of riding a Hummer, well, the Hummer is probably going to be a little safer for you as the occupant than the motorcycle. The chances of whatever.
Yeah,
These are what
you can't get her pregnant with that.
yeah.
I got a Hummer and I got a freaking motorcycle.
Okay.
I know what you mean by that. I like those analogies. That's
Yeah.
great.
Okay, and then Angela said, "It's going so fast, I can't keep up with it." What did you say, Angela? I don't know, but my point isn't what who did what correctly and didn't do it. My point is all we can change in the long run is ourselves and our attitude and our behaviors and stuff like that.
Well, holding accountability to the actions of others. You run into somebody. I know that everybody. I'm grateful for everybody who supports me on this, and this betters everybody as a pilot, hopefully for the next future. And the thing is like, all I ask for Nick is, please replace or repair my wing. You had no business being in the air. Even though these people feel somewhat half the same, I have airspace. You ran into my airspace. That's all I have to say to that for him.
And I think that issue is settled. Really,
Yeah.
do. We pretty much all agree that
Yeah.
he would be responsible for that.
Well, all now we have to do is learn from the mistakes and prevent them so we're not under scrutiny.
I will say, I think this topic here tonight is equivalent to avgas or ethanol free. Inexperienced pilot at a fly-in and someone runs into him. Who's at fault? I think that's exactly the same with the avgas. That like everyone's like, oh, avgas is better than ethanol free. Ethanol free is better than avgas. A pilot who has only minimal amount of hours is doing nothing wrong and crashes. Who's at fault? Or you know what I'm saying? Like it really does. You can go back and forth on this all night long. We're not going to. We have less than a minute left. But I'm just saying, I think it's a really Dave Ruff says avgas. I'm with you, bro. My motor's sitting behind me because it has avgas in it, not stinky old ethanol gas or ethanol free gas. I had to put my paramotor out there with the rats in my shed. Not doing that. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And next week we'll discuss oil.
Yeah.
There we go. That's right.
Let me say something else. So Tony says he shouldn't be in the sky if his equipment isn't fly worthy, I guess airworthy. But we don't fly something that requires an airworthiness certificate. And the fact is that not everybody at a fly-in maintains their equipment the way they probably should. So
Right.
I can't change that, but I can go with the knowledge that this might be the case. And yeah, I mean,
Well, I can tell you,
there's two things. There's the responsibility and then accountability or whatever. There's
right,
two completely separate things. And
right,
I hear you. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry it happened to you, Cole.
Well, I mean, like, accountability and, him knowing his gear was out and him being a reckless person. There was other videos of him flying in, doing wing tips or whatever the hell. Who the hell am I know what that maneuverability is?
right.
I mean, like, dude, I see someone come into my airspace and it's like a freaking I'm a crow versus him being a raven or a hawk,
A
trying to
faster
attack me.
moving, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, dude, he came right in on me. I'm like, holy hell and shit. I mean, like, and he's sitting there looking at me, like eyeing me. My dad, man, he had been a pilot before and fixed wing, and my uncle, died in a freaking aircraft crash.
Right.
I see that type of shit, and it's like, people come in on you, dude. You just don't come in on people like that. You just don't do that.
Right.
That's disrespect.
All right.
And there's more disrespect with what he did.
All right. So
And
Cole, I hate to cut you off. We're past our hour mark. I do want to say June 8th through 11th, in Bowling Green, Florida at Hardy Lakes County Park, there is a fly-in. All the proceeds go to scholarship for students at Agali High School. It is all being donated. Any money raised that doesn't go towards paying for liability insurance, all that good stuff, will be donated to the high school and give kids a chance to go to college on a $500 scholarship, which doesn't seem like much. But if we get 5 or 6 kids each year to do it, then it helps with books and or those stupid little classes they make you do. You can find the on my channel, Never Trust Skinny Chef Shane on YouTube. You can find the Fly It for Gauge video in there, and it breaks down what everything is. If you're going to camp, boondock out back, it's $10 a night. You will pay that to the county park when you get there. If you're going to pay to have power and water, you're going to have to you're going to have to get your campsite before you get there. Again, you call the county park and pay for that. Registration fees for your pilot's fees will go to when you get there. There'll be a tent, there'll be signs, you can't miss it. And if you want to prepay, you can go to Zelle and type in the email Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane at gmail.com and pay your $50 pilot fee. Make sure you leave your name and all that. Keep a copy of your receipt, whatever it takes. And when you get there, we'll have that all typed out, ready to rock and roll. You'll get your band and your free seasoning from Uncle Steve's Shake. So, Mr. Will, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me on YouTube. Just search for Will Fly or go to willflyppg.com.
Mr. Mark McElroy, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me on YouTube at Paralife PPG or online at paralifeppg.com.
Cole, where can we find you besides wrapped around someone else's prop during flight?
That's funny, man.
No, dude, that was very appropriate. I guess you guys can find me at Silverton Greenworks, Colorado. That's my dispensary. Yeah, that's pretty much who I am. I do a lot of other things with dark sky communities. Just find me there and reach out to me at Silverton Greenworks or Cole Davenport, and at Facebook. You guys can find me anywhere there. I'm willing to fly with all you guys. You guys are awesome. I swear to God, I won't get wrapped up in your prop.
All right, guys. Everyone have a great night. See you guys next Tuesday. Peace.
Nice.
I've got a lot to say, can't hold it